Thank you. My name is Conor Tapp. I'm the Executive Director here at Green Calgary, and today I'm going to be talking about inspiring action through Green Calgary's education programs. And then we offer a number of programs. We're going to zero in on how we determine what we're going to do and how we connect with the community. But we're going to start with a story, a real story. We reached out to the community and we ran focus groups. We had online, we had big groups, we had small groups, we did some one-on-ones. We talked to everybody that we could talk to, and we said, what matters to you? What are the key environmental issues for you? And the community responded. And there were about 42 issues that came up. And these are their top ones. We've got renewable energy, biodiversity, habitats, food waste, energy conservation, watersheds, and all of those tied together. And people said, you know what? Glyphosates are polluting the ground. So now, for those of us building programs, we want to understand the issues that are relevant to our audience. So we said to everybody, hey, who wants to know about gardening without glyphosates? Nobody answered. It was really quiet. And it was really hard for us because people wanted to know. They said in the survey. So we went back to them and we said, okay, who wants to know about sustainable gardening? And so people said, hey, I'm interested in that. And then we said, well, who wants to know about the bugs in your backyard? So we're taking that biodiversity, that habitat space, and we're bringing the kids in. We're going to make a family program. We're going to have fun. We're going to play with bugs. We're going to talk about gardening. And we did it. And we hosted programs. We have our entomologist and our sustainable gardener coming out and helping us understand more about the wildlife that lives within our own spaces. And we talked about a whole range of things, just not glyphosates. They didn't come up once. We led a number of programs: Intro to Sustainable Gardening, The Bugs in Your Backyard, Native Insect Walk, and Building Native Pollinator Habitats. Some of those programs were completely sold out. And people came and they learned, and they stopped using glyphosates. Or at least most of them did. We did a survey afterward and we said, are you doing things differently? About 75, 78% said, yeah, I am. So that's our story for where we start. But let's take a deeper dive. Let's understand a little bit more about how Green Calgary does this. So a little bit more about us. We started in 1978. That makes us Canada's longest serving environmental education charity. We'll serve about 10,000 school-age students this year, 60,000 adult community members, and 150,000 will download content from our website. We believe in servant leadership. And so, similar to Jim gave us a greeting today, a traditional greeting, from my perspective, where I am here at Green Calgary, I extend Wakotomin. We are all connected. We are all working together. And so I am here to serve my team and my community. My team serves each other and the community. And our community serves one another. And here at Green Calgary, we need to know who we are if we're going to have successful programs. So we are here for all Calgarians at all points. And this is a really important part for us because we found, as we were reaching out to the community and we were saying, what matters to you? We were hearing, nobody wants to hear from us because of what I do for a living, because of how I feed my children, because of what I drive. And we said, no. You're still a person. You still matter. Green Calgary is non-political, non-activist, non-lobby. We're here for Gregory, for Jim, for Nanya, for Christy, for everybody. You have questions, we have answers. And that's really important to us and to our entire team. We allow all Calgarians to have access to our education programs. And we help Calgarians to understand their impact on the environment and on climate, give them the tools they need to take action on the things that matter the most to them. That's our why. And if you're going to build a program, you need to understand your why. And so let's actually dive in and start talking about what we did. So we find our starting point. We need to understand where we are today. And so Green Calgary was doing a lot of good. We had our bag share program. We have our rain barrels. We have in school. We took Calgarians on what we call the Green Hero Bike Tour, where we toured natural sites. We talked about sustainability in our city. We looked at native plants and some of the plants that were brought into Reader Rock Garden from away. And some of our programs drew massive crowds, and some of them didn't. Some of them drew one person, sometimes 0 people. And it was as if we kept releasing the same movie over and over and over again. Hey, do you want to make a lip balm? Hey, do you want to make a lip balm? I pick on lip balm because it's the most profound example for me of a program that had thousands of people engaged in the first 2 years, and then nobody, because everyone knew how to make a lip balm. And we weren't agile, we weren't adapting, we kept putting out the same movie. And it might be hard to admit, but you might be out of touch, you might be disconnected, you might have low energy, you might lack some of the skills, or you might just be a bit tired and lazy. You need to admit these things to know your starting point. And that can be hard. But once you do, you can look at who you're trying to talk to. And here at Green Calgary, we're talking to small businesses, we're talking to educators, we're talking with families, industry, contractors. These are all in our audience group. We're here for all Calgarians. And so we know something now. So in building a program, we have some information. We know who we are. We know why we exist. And that informs our what. And we know who we're talking to. So we're getting somewhere. But we're not all the way there yet. So we need to gather data. And that's networking, that's drinking a whole lot of tea and decaf coffee, that's getting on the phone, that's sitting in meetings and chatting with people and setting up those surveys. And really well-crafted surveys that ask the right questions, that gather data that you can actually do something with. Never ask a question that you can't do something with the answer. And smash it all together. And you look for those alignments and those opportunities, and you go through the data, you comb the data, you look for those points that stand out. And you look for the little nuggets that are hidden. And then you go back again and you collect more data. You say, hey, this is what we learned. Is this consistent with what the community was telling us? And you meet with the same people, and you ask them the same questions, and you see if everything is still aligning. And now you actually have something you can go with. You know who you are. You know your why. You know your who. You know what matters to your community, and you know why they care. Because through your process, you've been gathering all of that data. Now you know their why. And that gives you outcomes. Now you get to talk about targets. And for us, we're going to be specific. We're going to have SMART goals. We're going to know how to measure success. And we're going to build in our agility. And it's really easy to say, I'm going to get a lot of people to come out and listen. But what's your outcome? For Green Calgary, it's all about behavior change. Each of our programs has its own unique goal. And the goals are related to behavior change, not the number of people who come to the room. And we count on our guests and community members to provide honest responses when we ask them about behavior change. We hold Waste It Not workshops. We heard Nanya talking about the Waste It Not shop that's been revived as a workshop now, where we help people restore materials. And that program extends way beyond the people who are in the room learning to refinish a piece of furniture. That's a lesson that they take home, that they share with other people, and that's an idea that lives longer than that program. The same as LED light bulbs, doing vermicomposting, and getting rid of straws and plastic lids. These are all behaviors that we modify through our programs. A few years ago, this was Green Calgary. We had our lunch and learns, our community presentations. We had a program called Green Teas, Depave Calgary, which we see on the side, which is ripping up concrete and non-permeable surfaces and replacing them with permeable surfaces. We had our Natural Living series, our Eco Bootcamp, and our Sustainability series. And then we hit the reset button. And we said, okay, how are we going to connect with people? How are we going to do what's best for our community? And this is our calendar for this year. And it's hard to read from here, so I'll make it easier. This is what it looks like now. We offer a range of programs that address the most pressing needs for our community. In our surveys, we said what matters to you, and where's the knowledge gap? Where can we help you learn? Where can we help you grow? And so Craft and Compost, that's a dirty evening for grown-ups where we sit around with a sponsor who comes in with craft beer, and we talk about 4 different kinds of compost. Waste It, our food waste program, addresses the fact that most Calgarians were not taught how to buy food, how to store food, or what to do with it once you make it into food. We have our environmental celebrations that draw hundreds of Calgarians to come and learn from dozens of educators, and a number of other programs. And then we also opened our Little Green Library and our Community Learning Center where we are today. Our Little Green Library opened with right around 100 titles. It's more than doubled in size since it opened, has public support, and is available every day that we're open to all Calgarians to come in. So let's take a look at one example. And I'll use our Green Goals program. Those who follow the Emerald Speaker Series were exposed to the Green Goals program last year. We launched it in 2017, and the stats that I'm quoting are a one-year period from November to October 17 into 18. It's just for the Calgary area. We had about 4 million impressions of this program, of this idea of setting a green goal. We connected with more than 700,000 Calgarians. From that, our estimates are that we had 36,000 goals set and almost 13,000 goals achieved. And that can be as simple as, I'm not going to use a straw today, or I'll ride my bike today. Or it could be something as big as somebody fully committing to cycling as often as they can, as one of our team members did, who, when I got here, said, I don't do bikes. But by setting her own goal, she really investigated it and gave it a shot and rides her bike more than me sometimes, which is fantastic. We couldn't have done this without our whole team. So to Green Calgary's team, our volunteers, donors, our board of directors, and all of our community collaborators, as well as our funding partners, I extend my thanks and thank you for watching our video.